Yo. All
Oh, how's it going?
right. What's going on?
Let's see. Should I?
Hello, hello.
Hello. I gotta claim the host. I forgot to grab the key there. There we go. Cool. So agenda today, I haven't looked at the issue. Should we? So I think we have we probably just want to quickly do some announcement stuff. I know we have a triage role. Well, I don't know if there are people pending, waiting for us to make official announcements of.
We can do an official announcement and merge it, I think. I mean, so far nobody opposed it, so that was the most important thing. But yeah, we need to do the announcement. So yeah, I was thinking also, do we want to upload these recorded sessions videos to YouTube later on? Or
So I did I did early on. We should have been probably
yeah.
We were for a while there, they were getting kind of short because we were also doing all the security stuff. So
Yeah, true.
I wasn't sure it was worth it. Today, if we're not going to focus on security things, which I think is good, I don't think we have to today. Then I can click the buttons. I think. Let's see. I should be able to.
Yeah, it was meaning more if you, I mean, the sessions that we recorded, I think we can access that from the Linux Foundation recordings probably. So maybe we can upload it after. I mean, doesn't have to be live, but
yeah, no, that's true. Sorry, that's actually what I had done originally. And yeah, we could definitely do that.
I'm happy to give a hand on that if you need an extra hand or help for that. And happy.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I've been meaning to ask about that. Doug gave me added me, and I think he also added. Ooh, I'm trying to remember. This was a while back now.
Yeah, maybe Blake.
No, I think it was maybe Kylie. So from the foundation.
Oh, okay.
That somebody could have, just a backup account and that kind of stuff.
Sounds good.
But I'm not sure if it was her or if it was just a general foundation account.
Yeah.
Either way, I have been meaning to ask, should I put it in a LastPass? I don't know, does everybody feel like they want access? Do we need to manage? Is there any activity that you would all want to do on the official Express YouTube? I don't do anything. I don't look at comments. If we get comments, I have never looked at them. Similarly to the Twitter, I also have the login for that. And every once in a while when we do something cool or I see one of you all tweet something about the project, I try to log in and give it a retweet or I don't know if I've actually tweeted from it in 5 years, maybe once. I don't know. I'll have to, if I have, I haven't really been thinking about it, but it might be something for us to also discuss. But yeah, I can get you access, add you and whatnot.
Yeah, we can see. Yeah, or other team members also if they're interested. But yeah, we can handle this offline now, definitely. So don't worry.
Okay, cool. Let's see. I'm just pulling up the agenda to make sure we're. So I guess then the only other thing here might be the sustainability efforts would be a good topic for today. Do we have any other agenda items folks want on there?
I imagine we want to discuss also about Express 5 probably. But that can eat most of the agenda.
That would eat most of the agenda, yes. But yeah, I agree. It should. I'm going to delete the socket thing. I actually added it.
Yeah,
I got it to the Pillar.js, I think yesterday or something. I'll be making progress on that soon.
Fantastic.
Do we have anything else other than sustainability in the last 5 or the 5.0 last push?
No, from my side.
If we have some time towards later, we should try and close the loop on the REDOS.
that's security. So if we want to do security things on today's, we'll have to probably pause the recording at some point and do that. Okay, can we do that at the end if we have time? Is that all right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Okay, if nobody else has anything, then we'll do the official trappings of the meeting and get started. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, everybody, welcome to the Express Technical Committee meeting for August 19th. We have 2 agenda items to discuss today, and so we'll go by that, but I think first we want to do some quick announcements. So Ulysses, I don't know if you want to do the first one.
Yeah, let me 1 second. I will find the PR so I don't mess up. But 1 second. Yeah, my internet seems very slow today. Almost there. Yeah. So yeah, basically, the idea is to officially. I mean, I made a nomination officially for Hassam. You might already know him as I am Lithu. He has been contributing to the project for a while in issues, pull requests, and so on, and also migrating some parts of the all wiki and so on. We create the PR 5,836 in the Express repository. So far, nobody opposes to it. Actually, there are some approves, look good to me, and so on. So the idea is to merge it. So if nobody opposes it, I guess that's okay. So official announcement. Hassan, welcome to the triage team. I will merge the PR.
Awesome. And in case folks hadn't seen, Hassan had also proposed that we start taking a little bit more active role in moving the questions and stuff over to discussions, which I think is great. I know in the past we had triage team meetings. This was a while ago. I don't know if we have I'd say, is it 3 active, pretty active folks right now who are helping with triage?
Yep.
I don't know if that's enough for us to start doing a separate meeting but I'd love, it seems like Hassan has got some really great ideas and wants to, get some things moving. And I know they've reached out to me a couple of times with questions and I'm happy to answer, but also I don't want to be in the way, right? And I doubt any of the rest of us want to be in the way of them making progress on the best way to handle these things.
I think probably it's a good idea to start having a space for the triage team. I think I tried with a dedicated Slack channel, but didn't work that much. So maybe the idea is to have a one meeting once in a while and making some triage and deep cleaning on the repos and stuff like that. That might be a good option. Also cleaning issues, pull requests and stuff and solving questions there. And yeah, I think we can get a lot of valuable feedback as well from them. So that might be a good option. Maybe we can set up something like once per month or something like that. That makes sense. So it's not a lot of overhead and we can just schedule. So if we are happy with this idea, I can talk with Ben and just make an appointment on the calendar. Yeah, I like your comment, John. Yeah. Yeah, 1 every 2 weeks also is a very good option.
Cool. Okay. Do we have anything else on the triage topics? Or can we move on to, do we want to do Express 5 or sustainability things first?
I think we can jump to sustainability. It's going to be easier or shorter.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Okay. Okay, sustainability. So I think, Ulysses, you created an issue, was it this morning or yesterday maybe? Sorry, morning.
Yeah.
Morning for me.
Morning for you.
Very different time for you, but
yeah, I created an issue. So the idea is more or less for those who are not aware of this fully. Basically, we have a partnership with Hero Devs. We need to finalizing a lot of details and stuff. The idea of this issue basically is to do all the coordination between both sides. So there's going to be some PRs and changes in the docs and stuff like that. So we can do all the coordination on that easily. We as well, we are going to have a dedicated channel between our organization and their organization basically, and the idea is to have that channel connected. I think it's like a Slack to Slack somehow or something like that, so we can just easily just add more people and having all the context there. So probably we start with the TC members and probably go bigger later on. But yeah, that's more or less I think the big update on the Hero Devs part. Yeah, I think John is working on the Open Collective side, if I remember well.
Yep, exactly. Didn't check just today if I got an answer or feedback. We check that today or tomorrow morning, but I hope it should be good end of the week if there is no process issue or stuff like that.
Fantastic.
Can I ask, once we get that, do we all need to sign up for accounts that you would then add? Like,
Yep.
what are the things that we, as the rest of the group, need to do
Yep.
to be
So
ready for that to move forward?
That's basically exactly what you are saying is you can add any number of admin that you want. So the main idea is when the process is okay, I will add everyone part of the TC to be a member of that. Same privilege for everyone. The main discussion that we will need, or I will try to have also, or maybe we can have later on, would be currently I'm only testing that with the Express repository. Is do we want to keep that just with one repository, or do we want at the end of the day to have 50 of them, which is an issue? Like I'm pretty sure most of the people knows and use Express, but don't know half of the number of libraries that are beyond Express. So
John?
I mean, I was going to ask specifically, the Open Collective is for us to receive funds from Hero Devs. Is that accurate?
I can answer, I guess. I think the idea is that is the one known thing we have to do, but it is not exclusively set up to accept funds from Hero Dev. So I think as we've discussed it on a couple like little discussions previously, if we start getting people like randomly showing up to donate money, like that's also fine. Like I don't think we're like putting anything to stop that.
Cool. Yeah, I was just curious. Yeah, I was just curious. I'm taking the minutes, so I'm just putting that in. And to answer Jean's question, it's like, no, I'm voting for just one account just for the Express repo. We can figure stuff out as we need to, but I think that's fine, basically. Click lower.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I think so I went through the process just signing up just to like poke around. And they told me I did it wrong. So there are certain things that you need if you are going to be a specific project versus a community, I think is the terminology they use. And then there's also whether or not we're using them as the fiscal host, which I think we have answers to all of these. Like we are using them as fiscal host. That's the whole point. But the other part is, Jean, and I don't know if you were forced to answer this in the sign-up process, but you said you did it just for Express, which I think is subtly different than doing it for a community. So it would be really interesting to hear from them if we can ask them via support channels or whatever.
Yep.
That matters. Like maybe it doesn't matter and it's all the same in the end, and we could just like list the repos or something, but like it would be nice to get like a direct answer on that.
Yeah, so I choose the first one that is, I don't remember the exact name, but like a project or something like that with Express. The other one is community, but community seems to be way broader and not just encompassing one specific ecosystem. So that's why I didn't choose to go with this one. But maybe after everything is approved, there is a way to just have a list of, that's Express main project with sub list of 20 sub stuff. I would check that when the account and the process is validated and good.
Awesome. Sounds great. Do we have any other questions or topics on the Open Collective? It looks like Joe just responded 40 minutes ago to Ulysses. I don't know if you'd seen that yet. He had a question and just said, is this list to coordinate specifically the things the Express team needs to do? And then he said, if so, the following task, we need to propose and get approval for the adjustments and links added to the Express website, submit a PR for that, and then discuss and decide and execute any necessary issue creations, deprecations, or NPM versions. So I think that's specifically the things once for Hero Devs. That's not like the broader bits. Do we want to update, or do we think we need to answer or update the list of to-dos yet? Or
I think we will define with them the list of to-dos. I think mostly, I mean, or we can just take them from the slides they sent us originally with the changes on the website and all of these kind of things. So we can just map out and also later on map, I mean, put which link to the PRs basically, so we can do a good tracking. Yeah, basically. But yeah, we can discuss that with Joe offline, I think. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. The only other thing I had was I did, just to get the ball rolling, sign up to lift the 2 packages I touched over the weekend on Tide Lift. I think I've got some to-dos. I think they approved it. They reached out to me today and said, hey, we like to confirm with folks that you talk to your other collaborators before doing this, which I think was a really nice job on their part, is to just say like, hey, gentle nudge, don't just sign up for packages. Make sure you talk with your collaborators. So I told them, yes, we said, let's start moving forward. I do anticipate, I said in the email to them, I said, I also anticipate, other folks from the project signing up, and we'll do like a co-maintainer setup for anybody who wants to. So if you've been, active in one of them and you want to do that, like, just go ahead and start applying for them, I guess. Yeah, go ahead, Ulysses.
Oh yeah, one thing from my side I forgot. In the last discussion that we had about the sustainability, we discussed about the option to try to create a collab space for this, like at the OpenJS level. So just before the meeting, I created the issue, which is the 1357 on the cross-project console. I will pass the link on the chat. And yeah, basically the idea is to see if we can get some traction on the idea and to see some folks around it. So if you know other people from other projects who are maybe interested on this, just share the link with them to see if we can get some traction on the idea, basically.
This is great. I will definitely send it over to the folks who I got, who are working on the Mocha proposal, because I think they'd be super interested in participating.
Wes, do you recall which packages you were lifting?
Oh, the ones I touched this weekend. My memory is apparently so bad that I don't even remember the work I did this weekend. Let me go look.
Again, minutes. It's all good.
No. Send and final handler are the 2 that I did. Actually, I had done send after we discussed last week, so maybe I didn't even touch send this weekend. But final handler, I was starting to prep for the next release, and so I just threw that one in there. And I think it says, let me just refresh and make sure this is up to date, but it says pending. So like it hasn't been approved yet, maybe. Either way, I'll let folks know once it is, and I can share like, oh wait, it says it's approved. Okay, so refreshing worked. They give you like a list of tasks to do. So I'm guessing now I have some tasks to do just to make sure that things are there. So I might have to submit a PR with like, some other details there, but it was a pretty painless onboarding for the other one that they had done for my personal. So I think, again, if folks have touched some packages recently and want to start getting in there, then let's do it. Do we have any other sustainability related topics? Ulysses, did you have any update yet on the? Or no, we haven't made progress yet on the grant proposal deal, the one from the tech fund, from the Sovereign Tech Fund.
Oh no, not at all. We need to like do delivery by the 2nd of September. Yeah, I put a comment on the channel on Slack. But yeah, basically, if anyone from the TC is interested on participating in this redefinition step, just respond to that or ping me on a DM so I can share you a document and so on. But I will share the final proposal also when it's, so we can get like a final approval kind of thing.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, if you can send me I have some time this week to work on that, so feel free to add me on the doc.
Fantastic. I will add you straight away.
Yeah, unless anybody has anything else, let's wrap that up and we'll move on over to the remaining things for Express 5.
Just quickly, maybe just before, do we want to discuss, and it was not a topic about, I know that you may or may not be presenting something in a month, 2 months now, about Express in South America. Do we want to have a way, or do we want to plan just to have, I don't know, a blog post, a tweet, something somewhere?
Good question. This call is recorded, so I'm going to admit publicly that I have not yet put together my my talk. But yeah, I will be presenting at the City.js Medellin in Colombia. Unfortunately, I tried to submit the same thing to JSConf.eu and it did not get accepted. Whether or not we want to talk about it, I don't know. I would love it if before then we could release Express 5 so that I could like stand on stage and be like, hey team, we did it. But also I totally understand if that, doesn't happen. I mean, we've got so many things that have happened since we sort of revived the group that there's, tons of awesome things to talk about and promising, things going forward. But I would love if instead of a blog post about like me going and giving that talk, we just released 5 and had a great blog post about 5 that I could then share details about. Personally, that to me is, I mean, again, the goal here is let's unblock the community. And so I'd rather spend time doing that than
Talk details to come.
right. Yeah. Anyway, I think, yeah, this is why I was hoping, I think we talked about this last week, like we're getting so close to setting some actual like timelines. To be honest, I'd rather spend, the most of the rest of the meeting just figuring out like, what is the next steps? What are the timelines we're trying to hit? What are the blockers? Like, do we have any remaining ones? And that kind of stuff. Cause that, we can write a great blog post all we want, but it's going to be a lot more impactful to end users if, they're able to see, us talking about Express publicly and it being Express 5, not 4. So I think that's a more worthy goal. And if anybody wants to come down to Colombia and hang out for the talk, I'd love to see you there.
I haven't bought tickets yet, but I still think about it. With that segue though, let's go to do's.
Yeah, you are going
Last
to my
question.
city in Colombia.
Oh, are you
Oh, yeah?
there? Oh, awesome. Well, maybe are you going to be able to go to the conference?
No, because I'm living in Sweden, but I moved 2.5 years ago, and from Medellin.
Wonderful. Well, I'm excited. It'll be my first time. So
Yeah, nice.
awesome. Well, I would hope to then maybe see you in JSConf EU if you get a chance. That's a little bit shorter of a plane flight.
Yeah, of course.
But do we have some people in NotConf.eu?
The one that's happening like in like this month or something.
Yeah.
No,
No,
NotConf.
did anybody else submit a talk
November.
about Express for NodeConf EU?
So I may or may not have a talk that was not announced. So yeah.
One thing we could do if we wanted, we're getting a little off topic here probably, but we could do a collab summit thing if folks were interested too, because the collab summit is co-located. So there would be time for us to work in person together there if we wanted, but again, that's totally optional. Maybe
That's
if anybody's
NodeConf EU,
interested in
right?
that. Yeah, NodeConf EU. If let's to keep things moving, if anybody's interested in that, maybe create an issue for it. I probably don't have time to run something like that myself, mostly because I have to put together the talk for the week before in Colombia. But if somebody else wants to do something like that, then also I think, and I don't know if it's too late, but if you wanted to do something like that, I think you could submit a travel fund thing to the OpenJS Foundation. For that, I don't know. It might be too late.
No, I think in the last CPC call it was said that you can still up to end of this month, I think. I may be wrong though.
Okay. Well, if you're interested in running something for the collab summit, I will definitely be there. I bought my tickets. But you would need to do it pretty quickly to get ready to be able to submit the travel expenses. So cool. Okay. So Express 5. So do we want to just go down the list of unchecked ones? So I think Ulysses, you have the first one.
Let me see. Opening the issue.
Oh, sorry, I should have linked it. It's Node the 18 Node 18 support.
Adopt Node 18 is minimum.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think this was a little bit tricky because we created an isolated pull request, if I remember well. We merged it, and then we need to finish this one and actually merge it, if I remember well. Chris may have the full context, if I remember well.
Or it was the master to 5 that I think was blocking. We were waiting on.
So there's a cascade
Yeah.
of block. There's a cascade of things blocking,
Yeah.
and the main thing is just the release of V4, the next release of V4.
Yeah, true.
And
Could we
unless we want to
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry.
Didn't mean to cut you off.
unless we want to break with that precedent, the idea was release V4, then we can merge safely the V4 to 5,
Yeah.
and that's what the merge branch is. But now the merge branch has other stuff like CI fixes and stuff that because everything was sort of waiting for this train. And so due to
Yep.
like the conflicts and the rebasing and everything, it was just like, let's just get everything in there. So the merge branch now includes some things that aren't just from 4, but also the recent work that's been done to sort of get 5 to where it needs to be. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think makes sense to say that currently is blocked, and it's expected to be that way until we finish with 4, right? I mean, with the next release of 4. So basically, we avoid a lot of work later on, if that makes sense. Because yeah, taking into account that it's the same people working in the 4 as well. So maybe our priority is finish 4, and then we jump to this. So it makes sense to keep it right now as blocked.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Does anybody oppose doing that? We've had a bunch of PRs that we've merged with failing for the known reason tests, right? Like these are the tests we know get fixed because of that 5 merge. Is anybody like super concerned that we haven't resolved that yet? And like we should, because Chris, what you asked was unless we break with the precedent. So I'm asking, I guess, does anybody feel strongly that we should merge it now, even though we haven't done a 4.x release? It would result in a merge commit, which we otherwise normally don't do unless we're releasing 4.
Yeah, well,
I'd love-
the merge commit thing is the ship has sailed a little bit just because that branch has merge commits in it now. So it's not like, we're totally out of the woods. But yes, you're right. There would be an additional merge commit, which we would avoid. I don't have strong feelings about it, but I am wondering more on the 4 side. 4 has been kind of waiting for some things. I wonder if maybe it shouldn't wait for certain things. And I know that means another release of 4, but I don't know. Throwing that out there.
I feel moderately strongly that we should limit the number of releases here, specifically because the things that we're waiting on are sensitive in nature. And so I do not think we should be doing releases until we have ironed those out, which would mean merging those things and getting them released. I just think that doing any other ones in the meantime is not helping move things forward.
I want to see us unblock development on 5.
Me too, but I think we can do that by just releasing 4. Like, I think we're very close. We got all the answers we needed last week, I think, on what we're doing there.
I'm happy for us to wait another week or whatever. I'm just, because we are so close. So just if I have a preference and if we're precedent breaking, it's in order to unblock 5 development. But again, we're very close to the other thing. So I think the update there is we're blocked on that particular thing now. Check back in next week, and if things haven't cleared up, then we can consider just going around precedent here.
Okay, so if we are comfortable just waiting just a little bit more and try to iron out this last 4 release, then I think that is it's definitely the least effort option on the table, right? Because then we just do one merge once it's all sorted. We don't have to do it again. I think that's the nice thing about that. Okay, so it's blocked, but we know the next steps for that. Blake, you have the next one, but it looks like it's an Express.js.com issue. So this one about router wildcard does not work as documented. What's next steps of that?
We need to get the new path to regex out and then router updated. And then once that's aligned, we can update documentation.
So blocked for the same exact reason as the other one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. List of dependencies to upgrade. We have Ulysses and Hassan marked on here. This was the new ad. Do you have an update?
Yeah, we basically have basically created a new issue. Yeah, basically the idea of this is to follow up with what is missing. There has been like the most relevant thing just right now is there is a discussion ongoing for QoS update. I was talking with Carlos today. The thing is, I made a separate PR that is not yet public related to QoS version, but for body parser, not for Express itself. So basically, I think we can go ahead with his proposal on Express because it's going to be like independent, as far as I know.
Ah, okay. So
yeah,
body parser one, right? Okay, so we could update this now, and then we would have a secondary update that goes along with body parser to align the versions. Is that
exactly?
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that was the big blocker, I think, right now on this. The rest is ongoing, basically.
Okay, awesome. Blake, I'm supposed to actually take this one over from you, right? The next one, which is the 2.0 of router. Or I think we agreed on that last week, maybe, or does that sound right?
Yeah, it's all yours.
Okay.
Thanks.
No problem. Putting my name on there. And then I think I've got... Okay, yeah, so on that one, I haven't made any progress, but I think Chris and I were chatting. I had tried an experiment over the weekend, but it didn't work out, to just replace. So we have this weird state, in case not everybody's aware, I don't know, maybe everybody is aware of this, but I'll just quickly tell me to shut up if y'all already know. Router was pulled out of Express 4 into a separate package. For a long time, they were kept in sync. When they fell out of sync, I do not know. But unfortunately, what happened is now we have things that are in Express 4 that are not in router v1, even though they were originally supposed to be one-to-one parity. I tried my experiment this weekend was to just like delete the entire router directory and replace it with just like, module.exports equals require router and install router v1. Failed tests, so I went to kind of dig around, and that's how I noticed that it had fallen out of sync. So we could resync them, which is one option. Arguably the most correct option. But I would say that if we're going to resync them, we should not do that without deleting the code from Express v4. So they were supposed to be parity one-to-one. When I chatted with Doug as he was sort of offloading a lot of the context around how he had done these things previously, what he said is he would actually make all changes in the router repo first, and then copy and paste them over into Express. Again, I'm not sure. I have not made any changes, so I'm not actually sure when that was stopped. So we'd have to like do an archaeology adventure to figure out when it was stopped and migrate things over. So if we're going to do that, to me, it makes the most sense to try to like just, again, delete everything that's in the Express repo and move it into the router repo so that we never have to worry about that again. And then the router becomes a dependency just like everything else, right? Body parser gets an update. We then have to do a secondary release of Express. Like that's the way that's always worked. So if we did that, that would probably be the easiest to keep Express 4 going in a good direction. Because with Express 5 fully depends on the router repo, the router module itself. And so all Express 5 related work will be in that repo anyway. So it'd actually make things a lot easier because then we'd have 2 branches in the router repo that is all router related things, instead of having to like backport and figure out how we want to do that. So that would be my preference. If folks are all right with that, then I could go ahead and take that action whenever I get my next chance to work on open source things. But that doesn't necessarily set us up for 2. For 2, I guess I should say the update 2.0 is that we'll be publishing a new version of Path to Regex, which just needs to be the last update in there. And then I'm going to publish Router 2.0. And I was going to, again, if anybody has any opposition to this, please let me know. Do the same thing I did with Send, which is publish 2.0, but not mark it as latest with the latest dist tag on NPM. And then we can, once we get 5 out the door, we can then update the dist tags for the couple that are direct dependencies. I was doing this as a risk mitigation just because until we start getting the rest of this out, I don't want us to be bogged down in a ton of like hard to figure out statuses, right? Of people who accidentally got, Send V2 or V1 in their Express V4 app and it's breaking. Like that to me would be like if somebody had like an override or a, their own direct install of Send to get a certain version and they update to latest. Like there's a bunch of cases where you could end up as soon as we mark it as latest with it accidentally in your tree in a way that like, again, that is totally prophylactic. I don't think those are realistic situations that can happen, but I've seen weird stuff in this ecosystem. So anytime I'm like, well, this could happen, I get a little hesitant. But so I was going to just do that for router is just publish the 2.0 as next dist tag. And then we'd be ready with that. So that's good. So then body parser, we're just waiting on the one update and then we can publish that. I also did serve static. So this weekend I got the last things merged into serve static, which is the next one on the list. I opened that lint PR. I do not think we should spend time talking about that today on the call. But the idea with that one is that's going to be a long one. It's good. But my hope or my thinking when I did that was like, hey, the linting stuff is all over the map here, and we've got some old dependencies there. And I would like to, if we're not going to go all in one direction, then I probably want to update those dependencies. Oh, okay. So new PR. Okay, well, I can check this off or check this out outside of this. But either way, I wanted to get those dev dependencies updated one way or the other before I published, just so we didn't have to deal with deal with it after. So that's ready to go. We can talk about linting again in Slack. I don't think we need to spend a ton of time on there. Also seeing as Chris has another PR, so we can give it a go. And so once those 3 are released, I will also submit PRs to Express 5 branch with the appropriate package JSON changes. Yeah, Chris.
Before I forget, you had mentioned the Path to Regex update. Which one was that? Are you referring to?
There is a corresponding one for the router 2.0 that corresponds to the one that we're also going to be doing for 4.x.
Is this the same change or different change than the one that we need to patch the
Different change. So
different
there's
change?
a different forward facing one, or like forward looking. The one that for 5.0 is the we have fixed things forever direction. And then there is the 4.0 one, which is the one you've primarily been leading the effort on.
I just want to be, sorry, I want to be really clear. For path to regex 0, is there a change beyond the one that we made for the unmentionable issue? Okay. I just want to make sure there wasn't. I'm just trying to make sure we're not like releasing for like the one version and forgetting that we're just going to come back and release another for the other thing. Okay.
This is specifically tracking the 5.0 part, which is separate from
Okay.
the one that we have lined in there. Okay, cool.
Okay. I just wanted to be triple sure. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, good to be sure for sure. Okay, I've got a lot of these, sorry. They're all sort of pending little things here and there. So MIMEDB, I've been hesitating a little bit on this one. There's a MIMEDB update. There was a discussion I pinged some of you all in that was somebody saying, hey, I just want you all to know this decision to ship data changes as non-breaking, even though they are breaking, is bad. That was their feedback for reasons, y'all can go read the issue. I have been hesitating to take those next steps. They're really easy. It's just some dep updates. If we're comfortable with that, then I can go ahead with this one. Did I link them here? I don't know if I did. There's some discussion. I don't know if we want to talk too much about this or spend time on it. Did people get a chance to read the MIMEDB breaking change discussion?
I've been involved in this
Yes.
from the beginning of it, and I still don't exactly know what to do with it. I read the stuff Chris sent, and I still don't quite. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky issue, basically.
Breaking. So he considers it a breaking change. This could take a long time to talk about. So, what do you want to do here?
That is the.
Wes,
There
your question.
There are 2 other unassigned issues. We could quickly bang those out and then try to talk about the bigger one here. So expect return true is not assigned to anybody, and response is only finished if socket is detached is not assigned. Did anybody want to volunteer for those, or do we know? If not, I'm happy to put my name on more. I've just been slowly chipping away at them as I have time. So I just haven't gotten to these ones yet.
Oh, okay, I see them now. The 2 at the bottom that don't have people.
Yep. One in fresh and one in unfinished.
Wait, which one? Sorry.
There's 2 in the pending list. They're toward the bottom. There's a fix expected return true and response is only finished. If those 2, we need somebody to, again, I can put my name next to them, but I've got like 5 others. So I don't want to be the.
I mean, put me on the expect return true, where I can put myself on it. That looks like the easier one. It's just Ulysses has already reviewed it. I think we just need to make a final decision and merge it. That's all. Sounds easy enough, but
yeah.
Okay, feel free to put your name on there. I won't edit right now.
I'll update it now.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was doing things in final handler, which is it depends on unfinished. So if it has 2, I can take the unfinished one. I just have to dig into some details. I can't remember exactly.
I can try to take this one and see if maybe I can bring some of the people from the triage team to help us. Maybe that can be a good option and try to onboard more faces. Okay, put it on me and I will find a good delegation.
John, do you want to edit that since you're okay? Cool, thank you. Okay, so we got a few minutes. Let's maybe dig into MIMEDB. So if folks aren't familiar or if they're watching, basically MIMEDB ships third-party data. So we consume data from a few different sources about MIME types, and we shove them all together into some JSON files, and then we have a JavaScript API which exposes them to users. And so this is used throughout Express, but then there's other people who depend directly on this. And historically, those data sources change in ways that are considered breaking. This could be in the case that what happened here is the MIME type for JavaScript by the spec changed. So we were shipping, oh man, I'm blanking on the details. Was it, I think it was application JavaScript, and now it is text JavaScript. That's the right thing.
Yep.
So we released that change. There was a bunch of discussions. They had sat for many years. Everybody who seemed to know, what is going on was in support of releasing the change. As soon as we did, it broke people. It broke people because they were relying on the data as part of our Semver guarantee, when really our Semver guarantee is around the JavaScript API we provide on top of the data. And so the discussion was like, basically, how could we ever know what's breaking and what's not in these things, especially when there's so many MIME types in here that are like totally out of our control, and basically would mean every change would have to be major. Like I'm pretty sure it would mean that every one of the automated updates that technically you could split hairs and say only changes to existing MIME types. I'm not sure exactly how we'd tool around that. We'd probably have to do it manually. I'm not really sure. Jean.
No, I was going to say, could we, because the only use case where it's breaking change would be if we remove something, not if we add a new one. Could we just, from data, just add a test that would take the file from data and everything we add and say, hey, if there is a new one or a change of one. So basically you would test against a JSON file itself and you compare two JSON files. Not sexy, but at least you would be aware when something is changed or something is removed. So basically snapshot testing for data.
Chris?
I like Jean's recommendation there. If folks, we can't just stop the meeting and look at it, but the time zone canonicalization proposal, which I linked to in the issue in the discussion, is basically the same problem. It's a variation of the same problem where the spec says, the time zone was called this, now it's called this, and implementations do not deal with this gracefully. And part of the resolution here, beyond change to the actual language design, was also working with implementations to change, to fix their bugs, like they're what are effectively downstream, so that people using the old thing, it properly is what's the word I'm looking for? Munged, I guess, to the thing that it's supposed to be. So that's doing something like that would be more work. I don't know in this case, what was the thing? Did the MIME type go away or was it renamed? What was the exact
It changed. Yeah, it changed.
But it refers to the same thing.
Right. MJS, or well, I'd have to go back at the PR. All the JavaScript suffixes, which used to then be mapped to application/JavaScript, were mapped to text/JavaScript. And so basically the breaking change here is any client that was explicitly checking for application/JavaScript broke. So that's what happened to the reporter, which I think was like David Clement. Yeah, I have to look.
So it's not. So it's kind of okay. In this case, it's kind of not exactly a change. It's more like an add and a delete. I I know, but like
the same input results in different output from our JavaScript API.
what I'm getting at is that like I don't think that mapping and preserving the old one was an option here. Like if it was like a misspelling, like they transposed a letter and like that's why it was wrong, then I would say like, okay, that's a change. But in this case, I would not say that. It's like a completely different MIME type. It's just due to the nature of the beast. So, yeah, but so what John is saying is I like, but that at the same time, would that not? I'm trying to reconcile that with Wes's comment earlier, where every update we make would be a breaking change. Because if that's the case, then okay, you've added the test, but it's still going to lead us to the same thing, which is revving a major every time anyway.
I just wanted to, sorry, I was the first hand and it wasn't to reply technically originally. I just wanted to call out, I think we even have the maybe not the correct package, but the correct package exists for a client to correctly have consumed this such that their recanonicalization, that's actually a hard word to say, could have continued to work. They were just doing an explicit string check against the MIME type, which is historically fairly valid and common. But we do have the type is package, which I think is supposed to do this kind of normalization. And so it should have consumed the same MIME-DB. And assuming you were using the same MIME-DB on both sides, then you would have been able to say it came in as .js, so it then gets transformed into text.js. And then on the other side, they could have said, hey, here's the request. What is it? And if they were using the right MIME-DB on both sides, it would have actually just worked. This level of orchestration, though, is very hard to do. So I don't think that even though that's like technically the correct way to do it, everybody's just going to compare to strings because they're not going to like be sure they're using the proper MIME-DB on both sides, especially if you're in the browser. This person wasn't, but like the reporter who reported it was both like a server to server communication deal. But if you're in the browser, like you're not going to load up MIME-DB, right? Like if you are, you're doing it wrong. It's massive data, right? So you're just going to do a string compare. So even if we major version rev, so let's say we add this test and we major version rev all the time, they're still going to break because they're going to then have to get used to, oh yeah, this is the issue. Thank you for linking it. They're still going to have to regularly update and sync their MIME-DB. There's no way around it because they're going to have to then accept all these breaking changes. It just means they don't break maybe randomly, which is a valid concern, but it's not necessarily a concern we as the project who maintains this really can care about. If we just tell them your actual recommendation is to lock, right? If you care about not breaking in response to these things, you have to lock, which is what the PR, Blake and I actually worked through and put some text in here that actually says explicitly that. Anyway, I've talked too long. Chris, you're up.
I wonder if okay, so to me, this has really only two solutions. And I think that they are not mutually exclusive from Jean's suggestion, which we could still do, but I don't think it changes ultimately what our options are here, which is you're either going to rev majors every time or rev minors every time. And right now we rev the minor, is that correct? So my fear is that revving the major, while I'm not opposed to it entirely, could cause more harm than good by other things not automatically getting those updates when they should. So like in that case, would the cure be worse than the disease? In that case, if we're revving majors, that's my fear about revving majors. So the person can either pin or use like the tilde instead of the caret to get only patch semver updates automatically and not minors. And like, sorry, that's the deal. Sorry, we broke your stuff, but we're afraid we're gonna break other stuff more if we rev majors. You know, that's not a if it was a no-brainer, it'd be like, okay, sure, fine. But I'm worried about things that really depend on that quote unquote breaking behavior, as it were, because they need up-to-date MIME types.
So just on my side, the main issue I'm seeing with that is the standard changed. That's a fact. Yet you cannot update everything in a day in the world with everyone. My main issue is if normally when there is a change, you do have a delay or a period where the two cohabit, and maybe you say, oh, this one is a standard one, the next one will be removed in X version or something like that. Here, I didn't follow everything that led to the change, but I'm guessing you still have a lot of application today that use application/JavaScript and not text/JavaScript. And I think it was not the only change lately based on MIME type. With the test, I agree it doesn't really change. Sorry, if we just implement that test like that, it kind of snapshot testing, it doesn't change anything. But we won't be publishing a new package that will include a change based on a test. We will see that, and then it will be up to us to say, hey, do we want just to add a simple include or add, basically push a new item in the JSON object or in the array, just to say, oh, we re-add ourselves again the previous version or the previous naming to not break current application, but we officially put a warning somewhere. Do we want to add a new header? That's another discussion on that, but at least we can put somewhere in a change log, maybe in some warning somewhere that, hey, there was a change. This is a link of the change of the standard. Be careful, next version it will be removed. Does it add some work and a lot of work to us? Maybe. I don't know how often we have those kind of changes, but at least we would be safe from other packages changing. The same way as if part of Express, I don't know, send package, do a breaking change, it's still up to us, part of Express, even if it's our own package, to check that when we update the send package, we don't break Express. It's one of our dependency. So, Chris?
Sorry, I'm trying to find the commit that removed.
Should be the most recent.
The one that started this whole thing with the
Yeah.
Oh, not scorecard, but something before that.
yeah, it won't be the most recent, but
It'll be IANA types, right?
it's the automated one, I think, is what we ended up merging, right? The automated change. Or no. Update.
Yeah, it's this.
Yeah, okay, correct. Okay, cool. You got it.
It's this one? It's just that I'm pretty sure it's this one. It's just there's a big diff. Let me look up JavaScript. I forget now.
I think so. I do have a hard stop. We got 1 minute. Maybe to wrap this up, it sounds like we don't have a clear answer here, but the ship has sailed on shipping MindDB. If y'all are comfortable with me shipping the things that depend on this new version of MindDB, because right now they're hard locked, then I will. If you think we need to delay, because that's what's blocking 5, right? We need to update those transitives so that we can get 5 on the updated version. If you think we need to wait on that for this decision, I can put in here that they're blocked on that. Or the alternative is that ship has sailed. We just need to think about how we do it going forward, which we could then say, hey, everybody, we recognize that we're shipping 5.0 with a new breaking change related. How do I say it? Sorry, bad wording, but like do it all for 5. And then we say, this is all breaking, but some of these packages did it in a minor, and that's intentional. right? Or we could rev them all as a major and just say, this is very rare, right? And like just move forward. But like, I don't want to get too hung up unless we think this is like a major thing we've got to solve before we do these updates for 5. Because I could do them all as majors in MIME, the ones that are the transitive, the ones that are in between is the transitive. MIME accepts and type is. I could update accepts and type is, release both those as majors, and just drop node and do all that stuff. Like it wouldn't need to have a ton of breaking changes. We could just be dropping nodes, and that's what justifies the major. So if you're all are comfortable with that, that sort of punts the issue a little bit, because then at least these ones won't be, by unpinning them, the users won't break in an unexpected way. I don't know. I do have a hard stop, so I kind of got to go. John?
I was going to say just really quickly, is that really something that we want, or do we want to add back the old MIME type? Because I'm guessing even if the change was 2 months ago, 90% of the web didn't do the change to everything else. I don't have a Postman or a curl ready, but I'm guessing if you query half of Netflix stack because you are here, it would still be application/JavaScript and not text/JavaScript. So do we want to, on our side, to support both temporarily? I don't know how long, but do something like that.
I don't know if there's a way for us to support both in this particular package. If there is, I'd be happy to do that. I have to drop. Y'all, I'll maybe try to catch the recording.
Sure.
But
yeah, I mean, one option would be to add a new method that allows you to override something. Go ahead, get out of here, Wes. That's a fix, but this one's complicated. It's complicated for a lot of reasons because straight up, not everyone agrees. Like we query several sources for these things, and I think it's like I think Nginx, I forget what it is. We do like Apache, Nginx, and IANA, and not all of them agree, but we add IANA as like the highest precedence level. So whatever they say overrides other things, basically. So I don't know, man. It's weird. It's rough, but the question is, like, we've never done major versions in this package before. There's never been one. Like, it published a 0 and then it went straight to 1, and it's continued to change things. I don't know if there's ever been something quite like this that has this much blast area for breakage. But you know, it's a weird, hard question where it's like, you know, is this package just data and whatever is available from our sources? Basically, I created an automation to just open a PR like once a month to like run the update script. If there's a diff, open a PR. And so it's like, do we want to just keep merging those, or what? How do we want to do it? But the Symver contract of this package is unknown or undetermined, basically. Like the README and historical context doesn't glean much from it. So I don't know. Again, like a third option could be giving users the ability to override something in here, which I mean they could do already. It's just JSON. It's like just a JSON singleton or whatever. So they could, I believe, they wanted to just glom onto it, monkey patch or something. But I don't know. I don't know what the solution is here.
So on this one, I was checking a file that is on the main branch. The only difference is application JavaScript is only basically linked to the extension .js, whereas text JavaScript also include MGS. So for this one, it would just be adding, I'm guessing, MGS.
The breakage was specifically with JS, though. I'll have to. It might have been that this had unreleased changes that sat on here for 2 years. One of the commits I dropped into chat, I think, might have done it basically. But yeah, deprecated alias name. That's the IANA info that Chris dropped in basically.
Well, this is from the RFC.
Yeah, but that is the official stance, is that that has been deprecated. Browsers accept both. It's really weird and nuanced because this RFC is really specifying like script tags, basically. So it's like, that's what the MIME type should be for a script tag, yada, 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 etc. So I don't know, man.
What's interesting is that application JavaScript is still there and still has extension JS.
Yep.
And what is puzzling about the person that's mad about quote unquote breaking change is that JS was not, first of all, MJS was net new, and JS was added to text JavaScript, but still remains there in application/JavaScript. So I'm less convinced about my initial, when I was considering this at first, I had a different impression of what the actual change was that he was claiming is breaking. This is less convincing. So I do not think that this would be like a semver major anyway. This didn't even did not change the existing record in any way.
Yeah, I forget what the consumption pattern is of this that breaks exactly. I don't have it in front of me right now. This was from like July or whatever, more than a month ago. Let me see what it is again. I'm probably not going to find it here. I think it's db.json is I think what we actually export. Yeah, db.json. Application JavaScript. Application JavaScript is indeed in the README example, funnily enough. Just noticed that. What's the blame on this? I don't think we update this. Yeah. Oops, SSH died. I need to drop in a minute too.
Same, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is something we should think through and get more eyes on, basically. I mean, I'll briefly try to just create the repro so that we have a test case to be able to show like what actually would have changed for a consumer, how they're using it. So. But I'm going to drop.
Hey, Blake.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is, Blake.
Oh, what's up?
Can we talk about, you had mentioned on are we still recording?
Yes.
We are.
I think you have the ability to kill it.
Let's not record. No, Ulysses.
I have the abilities, yeah. Let me go for the stop recording or pause recording. I think it's a stop recording, right?
Stop is fine. We're good.
Do you want to stop the cloud recording?